Stained glass, an art that has been going on since ancient Egypt. In Britain, it set its roots in the 7th century and highly developed during the Middle Ages. Made of coloured glass, from which small pieces are cut and assembled, the windows were used as a decoration, but also to depict scenes from the Bible for those unable to read. The art of stained glass has survived through centuries, adapting to the evolution of architecture. My name is Gaelle, and this is Art Alive. Kat Bays is a stained glass artist based in Liverpool. Her new exhibition, Far Out at Sea, is opening at Liverpool Cathedral on the 23rd of January. You've been doing that for more than
about 27 years.
27
off
years.
And on.
How did you start this? Because this is so uncommon.
Yeah, it's a new thing. Well, I started when I was looking after my children. We had been living in London, and I had 3 small children, basically under 5. And we moved to High Wycombe, and Paul, my husband, agreed that he would always be in one night a week so that I could go out and do something, because I was, I don't know if you've got small children, but actually,
no, I don't.
No, you probably don't. After a bit, you feel like you're going bonkers. So I was very happy looking after them, but it was nice to do something different. So I just looked in the adult education classes, and I saw it was listed. And I've always loved colour. I'd always done a bit of art, some embroidery, some drawing, that sort of thing. But I'd always loved colour, and I'd always loved shape and form and light. So it was the obvious thing in a way. And I went to the night classes, and I was taught by this guy called David Wasley, who trained with Patrick Rentiens, who's a really well-known British stained glass artist. And he was really inspiring. I think whenever you work with a real artist, you really catch the fire of what it's all about. Yeah. It's very exciting. So I took it up, and I loved it, and I got going from there.
So yeah, take us through the process, because how does it start? You have the glass that is already coloured then?
Yes, I buy the glass that's already made, and glass is made in different kinds of ways. The cheapest kind of glass is machine rolled, so it hasn't got a great deal of sort of human involvement in it. There are some very good machine glasses that have got quite interesting pieces of sort of movement within them because of the colours. But there's also a lot of really horrid glass, actually. A lot. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot. And that's partly because a lot of artists do things with the glass to make it come alive. They either stain it, or they'll paint on it, or they'll sandblast it, or they'll etch it in some kind of way. So I tend to be inspired by the glass that I see.
Right.
So I go to the shop, and in Liverpool we are really lucky because there's a huge distributor of stained glass called Pearson's. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on television. And they actually bring a lot of glass in from outside the country, and they distribute it and sell it.
So you start from there, from the glass?
Well, I sort of do, because I think that's what, thinking about it, I think that's what kind of inspires me to want to do something with it. But it's also from what I'm thinking about and what I want to create. So it's a balance of the two. I like working very much, since we're talking about the glass, I like working very much with the antique hand-blown glass, which is incredibly beautiful because it's much more varied and the colours are really sort of vibrant. For this particular exhibition, the work has to come from something. So it'll either come because I'm just interested in it, or more usefully, it's because of this particular exhibition. So this exhibition is coming out of an exhibition I did with my sister last year, who's a printmaker. And it was in a studio in London. And I made 4 really big panels, so about that size and that size. And it was about the artist who used to own the studio, who was, interestingly, a stained glass artist. And it was about the fact that he'd had to suddenly up sticks and leave and come to England and settle in England because he was a Jew during the Second World War. So the exhibition became about being your ordinary environment suddenly being disturbed and overturned, and how you have to be cast, as it were, upon the waters. So I made 4 really big panels of storms at sea, and sold 2 of them. And then I had 2 left, and I thought, well, I'm really interested in the ideas of storms at sea. So that's what this particular exhibition is going to be about. So to that, how do I do it? Well, I'll start off. Can you see these? These are pastels. These are brilliant, actually. I'd not worked like this before, but what is really important is getting a flow of an idea. So pastels are brilliant for flowing, and I was given these when I left my last job. So I'll use the pastels because they're kind of, I didn't expect to like them actually, but they are hugely releasing. So when you're drawing, it's really good to do a rough drawing. So that's a drawing I did about with sort of a huge wave coming up and bursting over. And I knew I was going to make it as a roundel, so as a round panel, because I thought it would be interesting and different. Now, in some ways, glass is challenging. Unlike an artist who draws or paints, there are no edges to it. There's no finish. You know, you can have a line, and the line can do whatever you want it to do. It can stop there or there, and you don't have to complete it. Now, if you were painting on glass, you could still do that, and that's the big advantage. That's why, in some ways, it's a disadvantage to me that I don't paint, because I'm not able to, say, get a piece of glass and draw those lines. I'm using these lines with copper foil or lead to bring it out. So I start with something very loose like that, which is just a small sketchbook, loose ideas, just getting the sense of the feel of the movement of the potential glass and where the lines might be.
But that's it, because you're saying that you don't need to end the lines, but at some point the glass has to stop. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's really challenging, because so actually doing something like that in glass
it would be,
I mean, for a start, it's challenging to do it, because you can't have something coming. You can't have a piece of glass that's that shaped.
Yeah.
Because if you cut it, it would split across there.
You mean, okay, all right.
So if you did a thing like this.
Yes.
And like that, which is sort of faintly like an apple.
Yeah.
There's no way you could cut that.
Right.
Because coming in and out like that,
it would
snap across there.
Okay. So you would have to have two pieces then.
But if you had two pieces, then you'd have a line down there, and it would be joining up.
So how do you do then?
Well, you've got to find the right lines. I mean, the other thing that's difficult is doing something that shape, because if that's a piece of glass like that.
Yes.
That's a nightmare to cut.
Yeah,
yes. I
can imagine, yeah.
Because glass, basically, it has sort of tensions and fissures, and particularly the kind of glass that I like has different lines and things. Actually, can I show you?
Yeah, of course, yeah, go for it.
This is just a piece that I'm working with at the moment.
Right,
but but have a look at it. You'll see.
Yeah.
Be careful though you don't cut yourself, because it's quite sharp.
It's not flat.
It's actually got it's not flat at all.
It's not flat, no.
No.
Don't know if you can see, but...
Yeah.
Okay, so how would you work from there? Like, I see it, that you've done some rounded cuts.
I mean, that's not too bad, but if you were doing that piece, it would be something like that.
Okay. That sounds... Yeah, it looks really hard.
It would be. You wouldn't like it at all.
Right.
I mean, so that's quite challenging. But that's actually quite a good piece of glass to show you anyway. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, we can see through, yeah.
Yeah, all the lines in it are just really beautiful. So what I'm doing is trying to make that, find the lines with the lead and the copper foil that will somehow create the image that this is suggesting. So it's challenging, but it's good. I like it. I love it, actually. So I start with that, and that you can see is very free and very loose, but it just gives me a sense of the basic shape of what I want to create. And then on the next stage is to move into the size of the panel. So that's actually a roundel, and that's the panel, and that's what it's finished. And you can see that I've used the same technique. I've loosely drawn it to give a sense of the movement. And then I put in the black lines afterwards to know where I'm going to cut.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can see my solution to that terrible problem was indeed to put a line.
To put a line
there.
in there.
Okay. I had to do it. because I wanted to have...
The end of the wave.
Yeah. I did. And I wanted it to go bursting that way and not just come down. So it was a bit of a challenge.
So are these going to be white colour?
Well,
or lighter?
The colour varies. It's never the same as what you've drawn out, because obviously what I've drawn here is very flat, and it's limited by the pastels and the colours that you produce in the pastels. You can see that I've done actually different colours to make the whole thing sing a bit.
Yeah.
But I already know, particularly for this series of panels, what glass I'm going to use.
Right.
So for this particular exhibition, there's a lot of sea, and I've used one particular piece of glass. So there's a unity between one panel and the next, and it's got a sort of watery feel to it. It's rather lovely. And I've got some white glass that is sort of bursts out. So there's again lots of movement in that. So having done that and drawn in things and tried to work out how to do it, so I know I can cut it.
Okay.
Then I move on to the next stage. Instantly, I knew that was a bit difficult, and it was tricky.
But then, so this is drawn here, but then do you draw it on the glass as well?
No, I don't. What you do is you make a tracing of the design. So, and that you can see is roughly the same as the actual drawing. Now that is not the end of the story, because things change. And can I go?
Yeah, of course. Let's go have a look.
Okay. So this is the light box.
This is the light box.
Yeah. So what I would do is you put the panel on the tracing paper on the light box, and then you take your piece of glass, and this is the glass that I used for the water. And
it looks wonderful.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? It's got all that lovely movement. Yeah, it's very exciting. And what you do is you cut on the side that's the smoothest. So do you want to have a feel?
Okay.
Which bit would you say was the smoothest?
I'd say this one. I don't know. This one feels a bit like it's a bit bubbly and
Yeah, absolutely. So you cut on this side. If it was a piece of flashed glass, which I don't think I've got close to hand, but flash glass is when there's a lot of plain transparent glass, but the colour is flashed on top of it. You do on the transparent bit. The whole idea is to make the cut as easy as possible.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to have a difficulty. So I'll show you on a piece of glass that I don't really care about. Okay, so having decided which is the smoothest, you then put it on, I'll just do it here, on the tracing, on the light box.
What is that tool that you're using here?
This is a cutter, a glass cutter.
Right.
Yeah.
That's quite funny. So is there like...
It's got a sort of diamond type, I don't know if it's genuinely diamond, but it's a sharp wheel.
Okay.
Okay. And it's supposed to have oil in it, but I haven't got any oil at the moment, so... so you put it onto the tracing, and then you score the line.
Oh, geez.
You can hear it.
Yes.
This is actually... Oh, do you see what happened?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yes, well that can happen. Unfortunately, in this particular case, it's not going to matter.
What makes it happen, though? Is it because there's like
tension? It's the combination of the tension of me pushing onto the glass and the fractures and tensions in the glass itself. So it shouldn't. This is actually quite nice glass. This is quite well behaved glass. It doesn't usually let you down. But it all will depend on the kind of cut you're doing. So having scored it like that, then you tap it.
Okay.
And it breaks. And if it's nice glass, it breaks simply like that. And if it's horrible glass, might break in somewhere completely different. So I'm going to actually change this. I'm going to do a piece that would be technically quite tricky, and it might break. So we'll see if that's all right.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay. So I'm going to go to there. And now you can see that it's like this.
Yes, yeah.
This is potentially tricky. What do you think is going to happen? when I tap it?
Well,
what could happen, do you feel?
Well, a bit like earlier, like it breaks a little bit.
Yeah, it might. So, and it did.
And it did, yeah.
Yeah. So actually, if that was my destruction.
So you've got to start again, or can use...
you can't. Yes, I probably wouldn't have done it like that. If I'd been doing it for real, I probably. So if we move it down, what I'd probably do is. So I'm going to cut it again. And then I'm probably going to go a little bit away from the line. And if it was a really, actually with that, can I move?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I'd get the grazing pliers. These are what you can use to tap it.
Okay.
See, so doing that, probably if I'd done it originally, I would have used the grazing pliers, particularly for this piece of glass, which breaks quite nicely. And as you were saying, you were absolutely right. What I was doing is I was putting a lot of tension on that glass by just bashing it. If it was a really tricky piece like this...
Yeah, our tricky piece.
Yeah, that's our tricky piece, which is really horrible. I would never do it like that as one go. I would do it probably like that first, and then I'd cut in.
Oh, right, and do it bit by bit like this.
Bit by bit, yeah.
Okay.
In fear and trembling. If it was a particularly beautiful piece of glass, with, I think, a beautiful piece of movement in it, you know, that I would want to... I want that piece of glass. I don't want other bits of glass. I want the really beautiful bit, you know. So that's why it's nerve-wracking. And having done it there and it's more successful, then if this was I would probably manage it with this kind of glass first time. But having done it, and say this is my beautiful piece of expensive glass that has a colour in it or a movement that is exactly what I want, and I've done it like that, so it's not going to fracture, I'd then take it to the grinder.
Okay, so you've got something to make it like a little bit...
Yeah, so...
More detailed.
Can I move again?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay.
Show us.
So this is the grinder, which I have to put this on.
All right, yeah.
Because it's...
Very professional.
Well, otherwise you can get bits of glass in your eye. Sorry, I'm probably looking...
No. I'm going to move away a bit.
So I'll do that, and I'll put it really close. I'm going to do it totally. But,
so what is it doing? Does it like make it...
grinding the glass down.
Right.
So, have a look. So you can see it's coming closer to the line that I actually want.
Okay.
Now you have to grind things when you're working in copper foil. And then with having cut it and having ground it so that it's then a matter of everything fitting perfectly.
Right. Do you have some kind of like framework, like a kind of puzzle then?
Well, this is my...
So you use this one?
I use this one. Well, I will use this one. Hang on. Can I move again? Sorry. Okay, so... If we go to... I haven't got the pieces of that one, but I have got some other pieces of a different one. Is it all right to use a different one?
that's fine.
Okay,
so you're using a different one there.
This is the panel I'm working on at the moment.
Right.
As you can see, there are crosses. So I put crosses if I cut the piece to let me know. Now I've got a few pieces that I could show you the pieces all together. So I'm going to put 2 pieces of glass down.
This looks funny. It looks like a puzzle. Really.
It is like a puzzle. It is. I love this bit. It's funny how some bits you really love doing, isn't it? Okay, so this is not finished. I haven't finished cutting that piece, so that's why you can see it's not right. Now, there are 2 ways of joining a panel, creating a panel, so that the glass that you've cut will stick together. And the one I'm using for this particular exhibition is copper foil.
Right.
So this is copper foil, and basically it's like sellotape. So you take off the back and you put it on the glass and you rub it down so it's really clinging to the glass. Now you can see with these two pieces particularly, the join is pretty good. It's very close. The glass is very close. It's almost touching each other.
Yeah.
And what I would do for copper foil is I would stick on that, rub it, hold it down like that. So basically, this is so thin, it's not taking up any space at all.
Okay.
And you end up putting your panel together like that. And I would put this panel, I would construct the whole panel on a wooden board.
Right.
And because it's a nice shape, I'd have two hard sides, and you can see, I've got some here. So I would put the panel, I would basically construct the panel on this and put the tracing paper, cut those two lines so that they're absolutely sheer, put it onto the board, put the individual pieces, once they've been copper foiled, on, and the whole thing will fit very snugly. Keep it together with farrier nails, which kind of holds the thing in place,
Right.
and then you solder every single line.
And then it all sticks together then?
And it all sticks together, yeah.
Right.
And
So
then,
you are actually doing that? I thought someone else would put all the glass together.
No, I
maybe.
would definitely do that. And then you turn it over and you do it the same on the other side.
Right.
So that's copper foil, and what you end up with is something that's very, very detailed and delicate, because if you are making, if you're using copper foil, you can cut quite small pieces. So that there, you can see that one's really small. Now, most panels that you would see in a window, if you know, places like in people's front doors, now for that, I wouldn't use copper foil. And in fact, most people wouldn't use copper foil for something that was so big.
Okay.
And needed to be much more, was going to be exposed to the outside. And for that, you would use lead.
Right,
And
that's
this
what
is a
you mean
piece
by
of
lead.
lead.
Okay, right.
Now, you can see from the lead that it has what they call an H section.
Yes.
So
Is that the way you put the you put the glass in?
you
right.
put the glass in there, like that.
Right. Yeah, because
And
that's
the
what you
other
see in
piece-
like bigger places. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be like that.
Okay.
Now, if you were doing a lead panel, you would not want it to be as close a fit as that is.
Yeah, because you need the
Because there needs to be
space,
space
yeah,
for
yeah.
the lead, absolutely. And you can feel that it is relatively
Oh, right.
flexible.
I didn't expect that. It looks like iron.
I know, it looks really, really rigid,
Yeah.
doesn't it? But actually it's incredibly flexible.
That's crazy.
And it comes in different widths. So you can
Right.
have very small, but that's about as small as it goes, that sort of
Okay.
width
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And you can obviously have bigger. And but you can also see that if you were doing a piece like that, there's no way you could get a lead
Yeah.
around it. It's just
Yeah.
not flexible enough.
Yeah.
Hence, copper foil is a really good way of joining a panel if you've got lots and lots of detail. So this particular panel, for example, has lots of detail in because I want to show the movement of sunlight on the water. So I'm doing lots of little pieces.
Right.
But a bigger panel, a lead panel, I wouldn't be able to do in quite such detail.
Yeah.
It's a balance. You don't want it to be too fussy,
Yeah.
but you do want it to look like what it's supposed to look like. But at the same time, you don't want it to look like a cliche.
Yeah.
So it's challenging.
Kate Bay's exhibition Far Out at Sea is on display at the Anglican Cathedral for 2 weeks from January the 23rd. If you're an artist and you have a special skill you would like to showcase on Bay TV, contact us at info@baytvliverpool.com. See you again.